Hi, I'm Rosemary Acosta. I'm a counselor at Scottsdale Community College, and I'm very happy to be presenting to you today. I'm going to start talking about anxiety because for many of you, when there's a math class in your world, it tends to make students and people anxious. First of all, I want to let you know that anxiety is a very good thing, believe it or not. The problem is sometimes we have our anxiety levels way too low and sometimes they're way too high. And what I wanted to show you on this chart is when your anxiety level is too low, your performance level is too low. So if you don't have any anxiety, you're probably not going to perform to the best of your ability. On the other side of the chart, if your anxiety level is too high, then your performance level will freeze. And I know many of you can relate to going into a test and you were so anxious that your mind went blank. And then as you leave the room, you realize, oh, it all comes back to you because the environment, the anxiety has decreased, and then you remember the information you need. So keep in mind when your anxiety is too high, you get to that oh no stage, you become very tense, you panic, and you freeze, and you do not perform. Where you want your anxiety level to be is right in the middle. Because once you get to that point and you balance your anxiety, then you're at an oh wow, everything is good, and everything just goes from your brain to your paper and you can perform beautifully. So in anything you do in life, again, you need to have some anxiety, but the goal is to keep your anxiety balanced and in the middle of the chart. Okay? What I want you guys to all understand, and I respect as a counselor, is that anxiety is real. It's a real physiological reaction that we have. And many of us, when we're anxious, physically things happen to us. Some of us have our blood pressure go up. Thankfully, I'm on blood pressure medication, so I'm good with that. We tend to get pale. The blood drains from our body. Numb. Cold, tingly fingers and toes, tense, shaky because of the anxiety. When that happens, sometimes people also become nauseous and short of breath. And Lauren talked about breathing in her segment, and that's what happens when you're not breathing with your belly and you're not taking in the breath throughout your whole throughout the whole lung system. You also can feel pain and tightness in the chest as if you were having a heart attack. And at times you get dizzy and your vision is blurred. So physiologically, anxiety can be very, very harmful, especially when you need to perform in a math class. What happens and what hurts students quite a bit is once you have all of these physiological symptoms, you become confused or disorganized, and you forget and you blank, your mind goes blank. And it's not because you don't know the information, it's not because you weren't prepared, it's because you've lost control of your anxiety level and you forget, you just forget. So what happens is your perception is narrowed, your memory is very inhibited, you cannot remember the formulas, the facts that you need to remember, and you become very distracted with what's going around in the classroom. So it does affect your performance in math. So it's key that you learn how to deal with your anxiety. Why do we become anxious? For many of us, it varies. The number one reason is because you don't have the good study skills that you need in order to be successful in math. That's the number one reason. So if a student says, I've failed math because I can't do math, I will press that student a little further and find out they're not studying math the way they should be. They're not working as hard as they should be. They're not managing their time like they should be. And that's the reason for not doing well in math. You also could have had poor math teachers in your history. Could go anywhere from kindergarten to high school. Just a math teacher that you did not connect with, and that could have been a barrier to your future success in math. Negative life experiences, again, an instructor may have embarrassed you in front of your classmates. You know, I've heard many, many stories about embarrassing situations with math classes and math teachers. Cultural myths and stereotypes, males are better than females in math. Again, that's a myth. At times we think because we're from different cultures we should perform better in math. We cannot stereotype that way. Everyone should be treated independently and individually and not be stereotyped into you are good at math or you're bad at math because you're a male or female or from a different country and so on. Family pressures and expectations. Sometimes you'll have families where your brother was good at math, so why aren't you good at math? Or I'm an engineer, or I'm an accountant, why can't you do math? A lot of pressure there and expectations, so that may be one of the reasons why you lack good math skills. Desire to be perfect. Many of you, especially our students returning to college after being out for a while, want to be perfect. So if I get a 99.9, you're going to fight for that 100%. And if you can't be perfect, then you're not going to do it. And many times in math, it's going to require more work on your part, and it simply can't be perfect right off, so you tend to have anxiety because of that. Self-defeating beliefs. As Laura said earlier, I can't do math, I'm bad at math, I've never been able to do math. That's your negative self-talk. And self-fulfilling prophecies. If you say you're not going to do well, it's hard to fight. You have the control over your self-talk. And when you say you can't, you are setting that foundation up for failure. So you really have to watch what you say to yourself. How do we manage the anxiety? I'm going to talk about 3 different ways to manage that are pretty simple. And actually what you should do is when you're in the classroom before the instructor comes in to give you your test, practice one of these techniques. They're pretty simple and quick. And you don't need to stand up and announce it to the rest of the class that you are performing an anxiety reduction experiment. It can be very private. The first one we're going to talk about is positive self-talk or affirmations. And basically, again, that's your self-talk. What are you telling yourself? That you can or you can't, that you will or you won't. Very powerful. Your mind is so powerful, and what you tell yourself and what you program into it is what's going to become reality. These are some of the positive affirmations, because many times students say, I can't think of one positive thing to say about math and my performance in math. So let me help you out with some things that you could practice saying to yourself. I can do this. I'm relaxed, I've studied, I welcome the challenge of taking math, I'm going to ace this math test, I'm proud of myself, and I feel good about my math skills. So there are a few affirmations. When I was in school, I used to have one in my bathroom mirror that said, I love math. I did not love math, but that was my inner voice, and that's what I would say, and I did fine. So if you have to lie a little, that's okay too. Just make it positive. Deep breathing. Laura had talked about deep breathing. When you're in class, just get into a comfortable position. Make sure your arms and legs are uncrossed. You could close your eyes and then just see where you're at with your breathing. Breathe in, usually a count of 4 is a good count. And then hold your breath and then slowly exhale to the count of 4. And try to do this at least 3 or 4 times in a row. And focus on that before the exam's passed out, and only that. Just kind of zone into that world and do some deep breathing. It's a very powerful, quick technique to help manage your anxiety. Muscle relaxation. If you have allergies or a cold and you can't breathe, this is another way to do it, because many students will say they can't breathe. So what you want to do is relax parts of your muscles. Again, comfortable position, and in the classroom I would imagine you're not going to want to lie down, so you would sit in your chair there. Again, your arms and legs are uncrossed. You can close your eyes, focus on your body, and see where your tension is. And with muscle relaxation, what you want to do is start with your feet and toes. And what you want to do is tense the muscle and then release the muscle. So you would start with your feet and your toes and tense those. You would move to your calves and tense those and release. Then your thighs and your buttocks, tense and release. Your stomach and your chest, tense those and release. Your arms and your hands, your shoulder and your neck, and then you go to your face. And once you complete the whole circuit of tensing and releasing, you're going to find that you're more relaxed before you take your exam. So it's, again, a very powerful tool. You can do it pretty quick, and no one needs to know you're doing it.